And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And of course, they are open all the time online at greatlakeshondacity.com. I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning, and I'm happy that you're spending part of that morning or all of the rest of your morning with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for that. Truly appreciate it for all my people up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.mixlr.com. However you're connected with the show, thank you for connecting with us. Thanks for spending some time, because listen, time is that gift that you can never get back. So the fact that you spend some of that here with me Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then during all of our special features that we do outside of those broadcast times, I cannot thank you enough. And those that watch us on playback as well, I appreciate you so very much. So many thanks, and just know that you're valued very much here on Wake Up Call and with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media in general. I appreciate you. So with that being said, we got a fantastic show to round out the week. I can't believe it's Friday already. In my brain, I'm like, nah, it's got to be Wednesday or Thursday, but it is Friday, and so we have our trio of signature segments. We'll start things off inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics and segments for the day, as well as guests. We're going to start things off with the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by the Baked Potato Express. Then we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. Top Dog of the Week is going to be announced from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare in East Syracuse, and we'll round out the show with a friend of mine that's been way too long since we've been on the air together, and that's Stu Flaherty, the Longtime Soccer head coach on the pitch, and of course, not only a coach in the world of soccer, but a great analyst. He's going to join me to speak on the World Cup as we edge closer and closer. After today, we will know all 16 teams that are in to this next round of the World Cup, the countries that made it. Spain made it yesterday, so your boy's happy. The United States of America made it the day before, so your boy's happy. Spain's playing Portugal, per usual, so your boy's a little rocky, but it's going to be all right. We're going to have some fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Stu Flaherty to round out today's show. Let's jump right in to the Annoying Moment of the Week. It is the longest standing segment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. No segment has been with us longer than the Annoying Moment of the Week, and I always love bringing you the Annoying Moment of the Week. I never know what I'm going to say, so that always makes it interesting, and love having the Baked Potato Express here with us to bring you the Annoying Moment of the Week. I'll tell you what's not annoying. The Baked Potato Express, going to these events all throughout Central and Upstate New York, they make sure that you are well fed. It is a meal in a peel is what they call it. That potato giving you all that you need. And I have my own Wake Up Call breakfast potato available on all Baked Potato Express food trucks. So make sure when you see them in the community that you go and get my bacon, egg, and cheese on top of that potato with a drizzle of maple syrup. It's fantastic. It's great the day after because, you know, it's something that I've tried it in the moment, tried it when it was hot right off the truck. And then I said, you know what, let me save some of this for tomorrow. And I had it in the morning. I could not wait to wake up and have it for breakfast. It was fantastic. So not only good in the moment, it is good the day after. So make sure you get out there and get yourself a Wake Up Call breakfast potato from the Baked Potato Express food truck. And we appreciate everything that Dylan Houston and the squad are doing on those trucks, and definitely excited that they're going to be out at a bunch of events this weekend. And so looking forward to seeing them out there in the community as always. The Annoying Moment of the Week here for you folks. Man, there's a lot of things that I think about. One of the things that's on my mind is I am a person who lives between the world of planning and flying by the seat of my pants. I do both. I feel like I'm really good at ad-libbing. I'm also someone that's like, you know, let's figure out something to build around if we can, right? And so I am a person where just give me some information and then let's figure this thing out together, right? Like, I'm going to be able to ad lib. I'm going to be able to make some choices. I don't need anybody to, like hold my hand and are you okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you want somebody to hold your hand and be there for you. I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking about, like, I'm self-sufficient is what I'm talking about here. And being self-sufficient and knowing, like, okay, this is how I go about what I go about. This is how I do what I do. It's always nice for me to have a starting point. It's nice for me to have, like, I'm a person where if I haven't answered your email, if I haven't gotten back to you, it stays on my mind. And that's not always the case with other people. Some people, they don't ever get back to you. Sometimes it takes them like a month or it takes them, up until the time where your event's actually coming up or something's happening. I like to have a connection with, like, what's going on. I like to know what's happening. And to the best of my ability, I like to follow up. I like to make sure I have an open line of communication. And sometimes you feel like a pest. Sometimes you feel like you're bothering somebody because you're trying to get information, right? But if the information was provided, then you don't have to ask all these questions. I remember there was one person that I emailed years ago, and I'm not very fond of how this person does business. I think they're one of those people that just likes being in a seat of power. And so I had wrote them an email, and nothing against them. Listen, I pray them a phenomenal life. I would prefer if they treated people a little bit nicer and didn't use their position of power as a position where they exert that power in a negative and detrimental way. I never think that that's good. But so I wrote them an email and I was like, hey, and I read through the email. I'm not going to ask you a question. I mean, do I make a mistake here and there? Yeah, but 99.9% of the time, if it's in the email, I'm not emailing you about something I just didn't read over because that's a pet peeve of mine. So I had a question. I sent them the question and they answered. And then I said, okay, well, off of that question, I have another question. And they answered. And then I was like, okay, well, I still need to know this. And they're like, I've reached my quota of question asking within a 24-hour period. You're not allowed to ask me any more questions. And it's a grown person, and then some people say, well, maybe it's sarcasm. If you knew this person's personality, it wasn't sarcasm. It's like, no, they're not going to answer any more questions. But my response to that is, if you don't want me to ask you 17 questions, then answer the questions in the email, right? Anticipate. There's certain things you need to know. If I'm covering an event, having a schedule of what's happening, where am I supposed to park? Like basic things that you should know when you've been in the industry for like 30 years. There's conversations that don't need to be had, but they're had because you're not telling me what I need to know. I'm having the conversation, and I can't imagine I'm the only person reaching out to you saying, we don't know where to park. We don't know we don't know where to park. We don't know when the event starts. We don't know when it ends. We don't know if there's a break in between. We don't know where we're supposed to set up. Like, there's things that need to be addressed. And I felt that in a lot of different cases. So I'm going to call it the annoying moment of the week, that I felt that I'm being a pest, or I'm being annoying, or I'm bothering this person. But at the same time, if I don't get these questions answered, I'm flying blind and I have no idea what I'm like when I get there. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Any of that, and to me, I think it's really important to be transparent. I'm in the world of communications. I'm a broadcaster. My job is to speak for a living. So if I can't communicate my ideas well to you, I'm not doing a good job, right? If you watch my show, listen to my show for 2 hours and have no idea what I'm talking about, you may not know the sport of soccer, but hopefully when you listen to me, you can understand what I'm discussing, right? Even though you may not know the sport, you may not know the rules, you can understand from me what I'm talking about, and I can provide for you a picture painted. Even if you never watch the sport of soccer, you can at least understand where I'm coming from. I pride myself on my ability to speak and have made a business out of it. So I think it's incredibly important to communicate well. And, I got into the industry thinking that all information sources were going to, like, bare minimum be able to do the basics, right? They may not do the whole alphabet, but they can do their A, B, and C, right? They can communicate in a way where there's a baseline of people in the communication industry. Well, that's not true. And I found that out the hard way. Some people are incredibly good at communication, and some people seem to be trying very hard not to be. So it's, it's a juggle to figure it out, and to, and there are people that enjoy control. People think about controlling positions of leadership, they think of like CEOs and presidents, and they think of, people, politicians and whatnot. But there are people that might oversee one thing that has 12 people, and because they can say no, they enjoy that job to the nth degree because they're excited by the opportunity to be negative, by the opportunity to be able to control a situation. And I think that that's always a danger zone to be in when you're not in a position of power that you value and appreciate. You're in a position of power that you exploit. And I always think that that's a danger zone. So I would definitely say that that's an annoying moment of the week. The other thing I would say is, and I never thought about this, and so my apologies to my mom, if mom is listening. My mom and dad and I used to go on trips every year. My parents aren't together anymore, but like when my parents were married, we would go on trips together. And typically every year we would go to Disney. We would go to Disney around spring break or Easter. And when we went to Disney, my mom would kind of orchestrate. My dad would go with what my mom was saying. I was the kid. So I'm doing, my mom would tell my dad what we're doing, and then they would tell me. But typically my mom would tell me. And now that I'm 40 years old and I'm looking at people my age, around my age, having their own children and family and all this stuff, and seeing the vacation, I've realized not everybody on vacation goes on vacation. And you have to really, because somebody has to orchestrate, right? Somebody has to be in the position of, I need to, like, yes, we plan a vacation where we're going to do all fun things, right? We're going to go swim with the dolphins. We're going to do jet skis. We're going to, go to this really nice restaurant. We're going to go to this fireworks display, whatever. But somebody has to orchestrate those people there. And typically the person that does it when you're home is the person that does it on vacation, because the mover and the shaker at home is still the mover and shaker on vacation. Just because you uproot a bunch of people and put them in another place doesn't change their roles. And so I always believe in a healthy, committed relationship, my woman is not going to do everything. I'm going to take some of it. She's going to take some of it. We're going to work together. That's how, in my opinion, this all flows. Is that if I go on vacation and I'm with her and we planned a bunch of stuff, I don't want her having like, she's the first one to get up and she might wake up before me, but she's got all the itinerary. She got this. I want to work together because she's on vacation too. And I think back and I think about the vacations that I took with my mom and my dad. We typically took with other family friends, like extended family. And my mom wasn't only guiding me and guiding my dad, but she was, and I'm not like guiding me in the sense as I was a little kid. Like I would help out my mom. I've never been the person to like sit on my butt and do nothing and just wait for somebody to do it for me. I've always been like how can I help? I go in the kitchen. Mom, can I wash the dishes? Grandma, can I help you cook? Like that's always been me, because I don't feel right just expecting somebody to do like if someone does something nice for me, I appreciate it. I just don't expect it. There's a difference. I think you move different. When you appreciate somebody's goodwill, you move differently than I expect goodwill. Because if you expect goodwill, then you're not really treating people like you're all in the same place together, you're kind of treating them like they're a slave in a way. Like, well, you're supposed to do this for me. And I don't think that that's fair. So going back to the vacation, growing up like with my mom and my mom would orchestrate and she'd tell my dad, like, hey, we're going to go here. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And my dad's okay. And then my mom would be like, okay, son, you got to get ready because we're going to do this. Or we're going to do this. Or we're going to do this. And I said, okay, Ma. So I get ready. But then after that, it became my mom is now calling the other family and making sure they're ready. And so now my mom is orchestrating with that mom who is now orchestrating with her husband and her children and all this stuff. And I'm going back and thinking about this. I'm like, man, when we were on vacation and there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, there was 7 of us at least. My mom at times was guiding, 6 other people, 3 other people, 4 other people, 2 other people. So I wonder, like, did my mom enjoy her trip? Did my mom spend some time to take a deep breath herself? And I think about that. I actually talked to my mom about that because I think it's incredibly important. Like, I go on vacation with my mom now and I say to her, like, hey, listen, there's things I want to do. You don't have to do them with me, but I want to do them and I'm going to do them. But if you want to do them with me, I try to make it as easy as I can for her. My mom is more than able to get around and do the things she has to do, thank God. But sometimes my mom's like foot will bother her. So I'll say, hey, Ma, I want to go to Universal Studios. I bought us tickets because you said you would go. And I'm going to get you a wheelchair. Not because I think you can't move around, but I just think it'll be easier for the day for you. It gives you a place to sit. It gives you a place to relax. And then you don't have to worry about your foot. I try to alleviate issues. Or I'll just, my mom will say, hey, I want to go down to the pool. And we'll just go and we'll relax at the pool. And we'll leisurely get food when we want to get food. We'll get something to drink if we want to get something to drink. But I'm not expecting her to get up and run around. And I think that that's really important as an annoying moment of the week and kind of spinning it to a positive, is that when you go on vacation, make sure you all are going on vacation, because it's very easy for a parent who has to continue to parent on vacation and maybe doesn't have a spouse or doesn't have a spouse that is like a, go get 'em type of person. It may feel like everyone's on vacation except for him or her, right? It may feel like I'm leading all these people, but am I enjoying my food? Am I enjoying the sights? Am I enjoying the event? And you don't really think about that. You don't think about it till you think about it of like, man, I had such a great time going to Disney as a kid, but then I'm thinking like, how many people was my mom corralling to make sure that we were all there on time? And it just makes you appreciate, not that I don't, because I definitely do, but it makes you appreciate the ringleader that much more. Because, and my mom also raised me to be self-sufficient. I've traveled more by myself than I've traveled with anybody. And I don't even know at this point how many times I've traveled by myself, but in a given year of travel, I probably travel with someone 3 times a year. And I probably travel by myself another 10, 15, 20 times. And I'm sufficient and know what I need to do and how I need to do it, make my schedule and all that stuff. And I came from somebody, and now like to pay it back to my mom, if my mom comes with me on vacation, I'm not asking my mom to lift a finger on hardly anything. I drive. I bring us everywhere we need to go. I set up things. When I want to schedule something, I make sure that, does this work? And with your schedule, where do you want to go? I make sure we go to the ice cream shop she wants to go to. I know the restaurant she likes. So, I try to be cognizant of all of that, not only to say thank you in the here and now, but to say, Ma, did you ever go to a restaurant you wanted to go to when we were all on vacation? Did you get to do the things you wanted to do? Well, tell me what you want to do, because you're on this planet, and I'm going to make sure that, not only you have a great vacation now, but that, we make sure you have a great vacation that can hopefully maybe fill in some of those cracks that you didn't get to do when I was growing up as a kid or whatever that may be. So I think all of that is important. And, to make sure that we don't make an annoying moment of the week for somebody when everyone's on vacation, but only some people are actually truly on it. I think it's really important. And it just made me think about it because of a situation that came up recently to say, like, I want everybody to make sure that they're having fun because, I had the conversation with my mom yesterday. Some people say they need a vacation from the vacation. And my thing is, if you're with me, we're going to eat well. We're going to spend quality time together. We're going to experience new things. And you're not going to do it alone. When I'm tired, I'm still going to be there. Because, and if I'm in good company, I'll put it to you like this. I have shown up and been there and been consistent in bad company. So imagine what I would do when I'm appreciated. And I just want everybody to be appreciated because that's important to me. Another annoying moment of the week is that it was 172 degrees in Syracuse this week. It was suffocating. For those of you that don't believe in global warming, Syracuse, in my opinion, should never be above 91 degrees. I don't even know if we should be 90. So I'm not saying we need to be cold all the time. I'm saying Syracuse in the 80s makes sense. We're in the north, right? We're right by Canada, touching it. So we're 4 hours from Toronto. We're close. We're very close. And that made me think of Trump. We're very, very close. We're very close to it. Canada, right there. 51st state's going to happen. I know it. Very soon. But, we're right. I mean, we're in the Northeast. So when it is hotter than Florida or more suffocating, and people don't believe me on this, and I guess you just need to experience it for yourself. And I did, and I have. Florida's my second home personally, and Florida is the second hub of my company. So I do a lot of work in Florida, and I'm down in Florida multiple times a year by the grace of God, and I'm very thankful for that. So I was down in Florida last year, and it was like 82 degrees. And then I came home. No, wait, I'm sorry. I was down in Florida last year, and it was like 91 degrees. And then I came home to Syracuse, and it was like 82. 82 in Syracuse felt more suffocating than 91 in Florida. And some people agreed with me that live here. And some people told me I was nuts. They said there's no way that it's more humid in New York than it is in Florida. And I said, well, I've lived in both. I frequent both. And I'm telling you that it is more humid in Syracuse. Our humidity is ridiculous. And it's been that way for a very long time in my whole life. So, but these last couple days, when it's 90 in Syracuse, it feels like the sun is like burning your forehead. It really does. Like someone's touching an iron to your forehead sometimes, but it never feels suffocating. And in the last few years, it has felt suffocating. Like normally you feel like, like sweaty and hot and not the dry heat that you get in Texas, which is a different feel. But you get this humidity here in Syracuse, but it's never felt like it's felt these last few years. And honestly, I would argue since they had the Canada fires, that was a different feel. And I feel like since then, it's been a different type of like weird hot. And I'm looking at the weather here today. It's supposed to go to 90. And then, thank you, Lord Jesus, it's going to 82 on Saturday on the 4th of July. And then it's supposed to be in the 70s and then 80s again and then back to the 70s, which I love. So it's very, very important for us to have, that, and that's the thing. Listen, I'm not going to complain about the sun shining and it being nice outside. I'm just talking annoying moment of the week that it was somewhat suffocating to be out there and to be in that, in that heat, the way that the heat has felt. It's a different type of heat that's been going on here. And that heat has really stuck out to me in a big way. And it just screams global warming to me. because this is not typical Syracuse. Syracuse gets hot, but I remember when I was covering the New York Jets in Cortland when they had camp there for so many years under Rex Ryan. And I remember going to camp and being like, okay, you know what? 91, that's weird. That's not typical of Syracuse. Now, every summer, it seems like we have that. But the way the last 2 days have felt, because I remember talking with my mom and being like, well, I don't want to go outside today. I don't even want to go in the pool. I don't want to do anything because it's hot. These last couple days were disgusting. Like, it felt like I was in a swamp. That's what the outside felt like. It felt overly gross. And once you got moving, you were fine. But 95, 100 degrees in Syracuse, no thank you. Again, I'm not going to complain to God when the sun is shining and the weather is nice. I'm not going to get mad at that because it snows here. But I'm just saying the extremes are not preferable, right? The negative 12, 2 feet of snow, and the 100-degree, I can't breathe outside. Those are the extremes. But, my perfect weather is give me 70s, 80 during the day, give me 65 at night, right? My favorite thing to don is shorts, a t-shirt, and a hoodie, right? Where you got a little bit of a breeze and it's nice. So these last couple days in central and upstate New York have been very beautiful and I felt like I walked into a sauna and I feel like I can't breathe. And when you make me feel like I'm walking into a room of a bunch of men of all different ages with just a towel on, sweating, not the room I want to be in. So we'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And we will be back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Coming up in just a moment will be Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. Thank you to the Baked Potato Express for the annoying moment of the week. Make sure you go see the Baked Potato Express this weekend and all the time in our community. Just want to let you know that the Baked Potato Express is going to be in a couple different places. So I want to let you know they will be at the Pier in Brewerton today from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then they will be out in Cortland this Saturday for the 4th of July. So make sure you go and see the Baked Potato Express. We'll take a step aside inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We'll be back with Lead right after this. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. We want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. You can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world is going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Hi, this is Chris Rauda.
And Colleen Rakowski from Gray's Craze of Clay.
It's a fun, innovative, upscale catering solution. We've turned eating into a whole new experience. Each of our boards is packed with delicious mix of artisan cheeses. We use premium cured meats, fresh fruits, nuts, and all of the sweet touches that really bring out the best in every perfect bite.
We offer something as small as a grab and go that feeds 1, maybe 2 people, to our large board that can serve anywhere up to 25, 28 people. So we have the ability to really meet and hopefully exceed all of our customers' expectations when it comes to the different varieties of things that we have.
Charcuterie boards or boxes are healthy, fresh, delicious. They're made to order. We're baking the breads here daily. We're baking the cookies here daily. All of our dips are homemade, made in-house. All of our spreads are all made in-house.
When you open that board or box that we have delivered or you have picked up, we want you to know that it was made with care and designed to completely elevate your event, celebration, or meeting.
We've catered parties and events for up to 300 people. So if you're walking in to grab something for lunch or something for date night or movie night, that's great too. Our events go from you eating in the car on the way home to a catering event in a rehearsal dinner or cocktail hour or party.
When we do, again, know what the event is, specifically for a wedding, we like to schedule tastings so the bride and groom can come in and see what we have to offer. And we can then, as we talk, to try to understand what they're looking for, what the venue's like. We do like to have that one-on-one interaction when it comes to catering bigger events.
Our address is 4599 State Route 31, Suite 5 in Clay, New York. We're on the corner of Route 31 and Henry Clay at Clay Marketplace.
You can order on the phone by calling area code 315-409-4171 or online at gracecraze.com/clay-ny. Come visit us at Gray's Craze of Clay, New York,
where we want you to celebrate everything.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch, but we're gonna have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here hanging out with you where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So appreciate you so very much for being a part of the show here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's time to jump into LEAD. Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. That is the acronym. Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what LEAD stands for. Proudly presented by the wonderful team at Chick-fil-A Cicero, the first Chick-fil-A in Central and Upstate New York. And I got to show them some love. Jim Rusakowski and the team, I absolutely appreciate everything that we've gotten to do together. We've worked together for almost a decade, which is crazy to think that because of time flying, but not crazy because of how much I love the Chick-fil-A Cicero family, and that starts with the Sikowskis. So much love to the fam and sending you all positive energy as always. Today's topic inside of Lead is a visitor with a look. And this is a story that is truly unique, folks. So yesterday during the show, I had a bird fly in, and so this bird came into where I was, and I was just thrown by it. I was thrown by the fact that it was a brown bird, maybe a sparrow, and it showed up, and it tried to fly up, and then it came back down to the ground, and then it tried to fly up again, and it was moving about, and then all of a sudden it was on the ground. It didn't look injured, didn't look like there was, a problem with their wing or anything, and then it just kind of looked at me, and I got this like calming sense of, we know each other. It knows me. And I guided it out. I was able to get it, and it wasn't difficult to, I think it was more difficult for me to decide what I'm having for lunch than it was for me to get the bird back outside safely. But there's been a lot of things that have happened. I think I talked about it on the show, but my neighbors had a raccoon, and the raccoon, I believe, first showed itself to me of anybody in the community. And when I was talking about it, I was on the phone with Isaac. It was like looking at me, putting its ears up, kind of showing me like, oh, you're paying attention. Like it was paying attention to me. It knew I was talking about it. And so that, I think I was the first person the raccoon showed itself to. And then when the raccoon left, I think I was the last person that it showed itself to. Like when it was exiting, I think it almost like said goodbye to me. And I've always been that way with nature, that I firmly believe that when you're putting good into the world, when you're doing what God asked you to do, when you're being a good person, it's not just by any means necessary that you're doing things or the ends justify the means, but you're actually doing things with a pure heart and good intentions, and you're trying to bring good into the world. I believe that God shows you that. I believe nature, animals, just, things, phenomenon in general, outside of yourself, like living things outside of you, be it a tree or be it an animal, I feel like nature responds positively to those that are putting good into the world, and I think nature responds conversely to those that are not. And the experience I've had with animals has, it's this thing that you can't unknow when you know it. Like maybe an animal doesn't show itself to anybody, but it shows itself to me. The raccoon, right? The raccoon in that initial kind of like letting people know that it was there, it showed me first. And there's moments in my life where I feel that, animals will come to me, they'll sit with, like I'll have my big brother Joey, he sat with Marissa because Marissa's such a wonderful cat, beautiful cat, but she's very much she doesn't get around people that much. And this was like years and years ago. And she came over and sat next to me. And he was like, do you understand what just happened? And I was like, what do you mean? He said, Marissa doesn't, she sat with like a couple people ever. Like besides me, like there's like a handful of people or less that she will come and be with. But she felt obviously safe to be there. And the bird that came in this week, it's the way that he looked at me. It's the fact that he was even in like my space, and that interaction was just unique. And I don't know how to describe it to somebody who doesn't believe in these things, but I do firmly believe that animals will respond positively to those that are putting good into this world. It's like God's reminder. It's like God letting you know if you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, or you feel like you're going in the wrong direction, or you feel like you're doing the right thing, but it's not working out. He'll tell you. He kind of tells you in the whisper in the wind. He tells you in the silence of an animal, but in how the animal reacts to you. And I do believe that because, again, I've lived it. I've watched my grandmother live it. You know, I bring her to the zoo and the penguins are paying attention to nobody, like they don't even know there are people there. And then all of a sudden they take to her. So, you know, there's something to be said about how animals respond to people. And I think it's very purposeful, especially wild, you know, animals that are not domesticated, like the bird, to just show up and allow me to help it, but then leave me with this impression. So I looked it up and I said, okay, what does this mean? You know, what is there a significant meaning to a bird, you know, showing up the way they showed up, going where they went under my roof? And the bird, from what I understood and what I read about, specifically a brown bird, maybe a sparrow, is that it is the presence of the Holy Spirit that coming into my space and where it went, that it is the presence of the Holy Spirit. It could be a guardian angel of mine just checking in, letting me know that they're here. It could be a warrior angel, and that it signifies positive change in my life. It signifies a connection to nature, like rooted, grounded. It shows wisdom. And it was all these beautiful things, and I felt no negative from it. You know, people always look at signs and they find the positive, and then they also find the negative to those signs. I didn't feel like this was a visit of negativity. There's a lot of things that have been happening in my life. And there's this song, and I'd love to play it for you, but Facebook and YouTube get butthurt when you put up anything, even if you say you don't have the copyright to it, you're not trying to make money off of it, you just want to share it because you want to share a love for music with other people. Apparently we can't share a love for music with each other anymore, but then if you go on Instagram, you can use copywritten music all over the place. So the internet doesn't make sense. We know that. And I'm trying to be one of those places that does make sense, and I would love, this is probably an annoying moment of the week for me too, I would love to be able to play a clip from a song so that I can give weight to what I'm talking about. But because I cannot play a clip, because I don't want this part of my video to get flagged, or for me to not be able, or like it gets muted or whatever, I'm going to read to you the lyrics. Because, you know, this bird visiting me with the look, I'm going to read to you these lyrics. And these lyrics have like really special meaning to me, but we'll talk about it. The sparrow's not worried about tomorrow or the troubles to come. The lily, the name of my dog, the lily's not thinking about the seasons, the drought, or the flood. A tree that's planted by the water isn't fazed by the fire. So why should I be? 'Cause you take good care of me. You take good care of me. You know what I need before I even ask a thing. And you hold me in your hands with a kindness that never ends. I'm carried in your love no matter what the future brings. You take good care of me. And then the other verse is, the sun's not worried about the winter, 'cause soon it will pass. The light's not thinking about the darkness or the shadow it casts. A heart that's planted in forgiveness doesn't dwell in the past. So why should I be? And I want you to think about that. The sun's not worried about the winter, because soon it will pass. The light's not thinking about the darkness or the shadow it casts. A heart that's planted in forgiveness doesn't dwell in the past. So why should I be? One of the most difficult things I've ever had to unlearn is dwelling in the past. It has, and I'm not going to lie about it by any stretch of the imagination, it's consumed me. It's 100% consumed me. Thinking about everything that's happened to me, how it made me feel. Just being focused on past pain, past trouble, past confusion, past hardship, past adversity. And then reading that line saying, if my heart is planted in forgiveness, it detaches me from everything in my past. If I truly forgive what happened to me and who did it, I don't ever have to feel connected to it or live in it anymore. That hit me. That if I truly forgive someone or something, then it releases me from the past. So if I want to not live in the past, I need to check myself if I've actually forgiven or if I've just said that I forgive. And that's deep to me. But just seeing that bird come in yesterday, seeing a visitor, and knowing that he brought goodness with him, it was the way he looked at me. It was the way I felt, the calmness, the connection. It wasn't human bird. It was simply being to being. I see you. I got you. And you have a message for me. What is it? And it's just beautiful. You know, it's making me think about Snow White, because Snow White had like birds coming over to her and deer. And I think back years ago in the middle of the day where, you know, I was putting bread outside for Grandpa Bill, my extended family. And so, you know, I was putting the bread out and there was like 3 or 4 deer. And one of them, you know, moved pretty close to me and was like looking at me almost eye to eye. And I thought to myself, like, I am not moving until this deer moves. Not because I'm afraid, but I don't want this moment to end. To see how close this being was with me. And to just be in that moment, in that presence. It just meant a lot to me. You know, how Lily is with me when I tell everybody she's my kid. I'm not saying that because, you know, I have some warped view of reality because I don't have human children. It's that the way that she interacts with me, how she communicates with me, and just overall the essence of who she is, I genuinely know that she was meant to be my daughter. I was meant to be her dad. This is not dog human. This is family. This is her soul could have been put in anything, and I would have asked God to let me take care of her. And I'm sure she would ask to take care of me because she has. So, to those of you that don't want to believe that nature responds positively or negatively depending on what you put out in the world, think about your life. Think about how things have responded to you before. And you're probably going to catch a moment in your life that's weird. that you couldn't describe, right? You were praying about something and all of a sudden the wind shifted and you saw the tree blow in a totally different direction. And then you were saying, okay, God, well, what if I don't make that decision, but I make the opposite decision and then the wind blows the other way? And it's literally like the tree is, reacting to you, or the clouds are reacting to you, or the lightning's reacting to you, or, the animal is. And I mean, when I worked at Disney, there was a squirrel that would come over. And when I worked on the cart where I would make like the vanilla or the cinnamon vanilla almonds and pecans or whatever, like when I was making that stuff, there was a squirrel that would come over to my cart, and it wasn't like any of the other squirrels that were like rambunctious and nuts and running everywhere. This one was very calm, very like come up to you slowly. I named him Pedro. I spoke to him in Spanish, and we interacted on multiple occasions, and he would come up to me. So again, to some people, I'm nuts. To me, I'm going, I can't believe that this squirrel is hearing the language and like interacting with me on this line. And it wasn't just throw it a pecan, like he would come very close and, like almost just like take it and like eat it there in front of me like a thank you. Wouldn't bother me, wouldn't stay there all day like give me food, give me food. You give him one or two and he was good. But I think about those moments, right? That, here's these squirrels that people think are like absolutely nuts and gross and dirty and whatever. And then here's one that's coming up to me. I'm speaking to it in a different language and it seemingly understanding it and interacting with me and feeling safe with me. My next door neighbors had this growing up. They had this massive dog, Claire, and so many people were afraid of her until I realized that she was trying to be like every other dog. She's just big. So when she like galloped towards you like a horse, it's because she was happy to see you, just like Lily does at 10 pounds. Claire did at 100 pounds. And she wanted to jump up on you, not because she wanted to eat you, but because she, like Lily, wanted to give you a hug, wanted to show you love. And when I befriended Claire and spent time with Claire, who could literally look at me eye to eye growing up as a kid, there was just something to that bond and that relationship. And she wasn't even my dog. And then I think of Seamus, same house. Seamus was always really close to me. And there was two people walking down the driveway one day, and I was petting Seamus, and he was sitting next to me on my left, and I'm petting him like I always do. And he didn't make a noise. He didn't do anything. He just stayed sitting down and turned his body and put himself in between my legs and his head in front of my head, and just very simply was like sitting with me. The moment he thought I was in danger, he shifted his body, directed himself, and let the two people know coming down the driveway, you will not touch this person. And there's just something about that. I mean, and again, he wasn't my dog. Didn't live in my house, was my neighbor's dog. So, I really do believe that animals do show you what you're putting in the world, good or bad. And the bird coming to visit yesterday, I can't shake the fact that of all the signs that I've gotten in my life and the heightened amount of signs that I've received recently and just how God is speaking to me, I do not believe that this bird came in just because it was a mistake. I believe the bird came in to send me a message and let me decipher it, and that it's a good message and a message of just kindness and peace and beauty. And it just hit me some kind of way. And I love moments like that because they stay with you. And how many people can say that a bird flew in to, their sanctuary and like interacted with them in a way that felt like it was like you knew each other? Learn, evolve, ad lib, deliver. Learn about yourself, what you're putting in the world. Really think about what you're doing. Evolve, get better where you are not doing good. Ad-lib, be willing to respond to things that you don't expect, like a bird flying into your place, and deliver. Right? Take those moments, take those interactions, take these unique things and do something with them. Don't let them fall on deaf ears. There's a reason why the bird came in. Let that reason flow into something else. I really don't have, as I'm sitting here having this segment of lead today, I don't have the perfect words. I don't have I can honestly tell you that it moved me in a way that I can't put enough words to. It stuck with me. And it's making me ask you, what thing can you not describe that's happened in your life that made you stop and say, wow, I think God was here. I know God was here. I know that he was speaking to me. It's amazing how clear messages become when you stop believing that it's crazy and you start believing that everything has its purpose. Everything has a purpose. So, I hope that you put good in this world, and I hope that good finds you. I know it will, and I need you to believe in it when it's there. I need you to know that God loves you. You were not created by accident. You have a purpose. You have a place in this world. And even if things haven't worked out the way you wanted them to work out, I want you to keep going. God doesn't put a bird in front of me to interact with me that way for me to keep it to myself. He wants me to tell that story because I want you to believe in your own bird story, in your own special moment that's going to happen in your life that's going to let you know you're going in the right direction, or maybe it's time to change directions. Don't overlook the calm and don't overlook the beauty. We all have those moments we cannot explain, and they don't need to be explained, but they need to be lived, and we need to take from those moments and create the next moment. So stay strong, stay faithful, and stay ready. I love you all. We'll take a step aside for a fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, it's the Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare and Stu Flaherty.
Hi, this is Gina Husted. I'm part owner of Skippy's Ice Cream. The other half is my better half, Don Husted Jr. When somebody comes up to the truck and it's a family, it's nice that the older generation is nostalgic and they can tell the younger generation, back in my day, we used to have the truck around our neighborhood. So now you're lucky because the truck can come to your party, and you're lucky that this truck is at a festival and you're getting to buy the ice cream. And basically we're ice cream that comes to you now, specifically comes to you, not for you waiting for us, we're coming to you. We will do neighborhoods if you have a block party. We do birthdays, we do anniversaries, we do celebrations of life, we do wedding showers, we do festivals, we'll do corporate events, we have a lot of corporate picnics, we have family reunions, so it's a whole wide range of whatever party you have, we'd love to be at. We're so appreciative of the community, always coming up to us at festivals and calling us to have different events. We have a lot of return customers. We always have people coming up to our truck. We're always there for the community. We always try to give back to different organizations and fundraisers, and so I think the community sees that. We like to give back to them. This is where we live. This is where we were raised. This is where our kids were raised. So the community is very special to us. I mean, obviously we've lived here our whole lives, so it means a lot that they come up to our truck and that they choose us because we're just there to please the community and deal with as many people as we can in this community, because this is, like I said, where we were born and raised. If you'd like to get in touch with Skippy's Ice Cream and have us at your next event, I would suggest using our email, skipthecake, SKIPTAGCAKE, skipthecake@gmail.com. That's the fastest way to get a hold of us. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us, and that's going to get the fastest response from us. If you choose to call, if you don't have an email, then you can call 315-456-9750, and we'll be glad to get back to you as soon as we can. Skippy's Ice Cream, the original ice cream truck.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday and all the time online at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. I am picture-in-picture with Stewart Flaherty, the longtime soccer head coach, as well as a great analyst of the game. He's going to join me for another segment that's going to come up in just a second that he doesn't know about, but I know he's going to be prepared for and excited about. Stu Flaherty, it's been a million years, my guy. How you doing?
It is. How are you, brother? It's good to see you. I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's good to see you as well, and happy to have you here. You know, I want to say before anything else, because I think it's incredibly important to to let people know. I say people in this world, when they complain about something, they want to tell everybody, but when something good happens or there's a good interaction, people stay quiet. I'm the opposite. So I want to say, Stu, for meeting you and when we first crossed paths, to right after that, having you to the house, having you there for the NFL title game party, sitting with you, watching and going over games with you. I mean, our friendship built very quickly, and professionally and personally. You are just somebody that I'm very happy to cross paths with. I look back at that moment and I think to myself, of everything that could have been and ended up being, maybe the whole point of you coming through Central New York was so you and I could literally cross paths and be able to be here today and build this relationship. So I just got to say, Stu, I really value you. I respect you. I appreciate you. And I always want to see you doing well.
Feel the same, brother. And is that a Dallas Cowboy shirt I see? Because I love that.
Yeah, and so I knew you would notice it and appreciate it. It's my low key. I'm going to be announcing something today that I will be doing in Texas here in July. And so this is my low-key kind of subliminal messaging of what's of the news that I'm going to break. And I knew that you would appreciate it and say something about it, which would provoke me to tell people, stay tuned today on our social media, because I will be releasing something I've never done before and I'm very excited about.
Let's go.
Yeah. So are you now bring us, there's a lot of things I want to get into, a lot of stuff I want to cover with you. I first and foremost, before we get into your journey, we do a segment on the show called the Top Dog of the Week. Top Dog of the Week is probably presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. It is the only place I would suggest for you to bring your dog for daily care. They're in East Syracuse on 228 Old Bridge Street, right across from BJ's Wholesale Club. And you can see them from the highway. Very easy to get to. For more information, call 315-437-7110 or go online to k-9kamp.com. Top Dog of the Week, I'm doing this World Cup style. So if you had to pick a top dog, either a country or an individual player, who would be your top dog for the knockout stage of 32 so far?
Harry Kane.
Okay.
I thought England were in a deep, deep hole. I thought everything was going against them, and I think if Harry Kane wasn't playing in the game, Congo's in the round of 16 right now. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and I can 100% understand. I mean, Harry came through in such a way that was absolutely undeniably, and I agree with you, if he wasn't there, then the Congo's moving on. And that matchup really did show what an individual can mean to a country. I would say, arguably, I think this is an easy pick to some people, but I think when this man sets up for a penalty kick, 99.99999% of the time, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to make that penalty kick. And when they were down 1-0 and this, Portugal-Croatia game yesterday in the knockout round of 32, as soon as the opportunity came, there's no one else I thought would go up for it. And to me, it's like flicking the light on. When you wake up in the morning, you think the light is, every time you hit that switch, you expect the light to come on, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo. So I think that obviously was the equalizer in an eventual victory for Portugal. So I would say that. I would also say my top dogs of the week, I have kind of twofold. One of them is the fact that all of the host countries in the North American Cup in FIFA are in the round of 16. So Mexico, Canada, and the United States, who are representing and having these matches played on their soil, are still in it, because it would be a bad look if they weren't. So I would say shout out to all of them. The United States getting to where they are right now. I mean, atypical for them to get deep into the men's side of things when it comes to FIFA. The women's team has been fantastic in the World Cup. And then when you look at Mexico, of the three of them, I think if anybody was going to lean on and put money on somebody, they would put it on Mexico. 800,000 people in the streets going absolutely nuts to see Mexico move on to the round of 16. And then Canada getting the farthest that they've ever been. So I think the North American representation of the host countries, that's a top dog of the week. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say that my heritage just made me so happy. And if any number is going to have a goal, and he had 2 out of 3 yesterday, number 21, my favorite number, and Spain just going out, doing what they need to do. Is my heart going to stop a little bit with Spain playing Portugal again? Of course. But seeing Spain do what they did, command the way that they did, and there was another goal that was called off too early on. I don't know if I can pick one top dog for Spain's national team, but I would say with my family watching in Spain, I was able to put out a video yesterday where I got to mention my family, the Caracaos, as well as speaking on my just love for Spain and my heritage, and they shared it. And so we literally had this across the pond back and forth yesterday, speaking in Spanish and English with each other. And that was such a beautiful moment to feel like, in a way, I was sitting on the couch with them. So I would have to give Spain its flowers too as top dogs of the week.
Dan, where does the love of the number 21 come from? Which athlete sparked that?
So it's actually my birthday, October 21st. And
Oh, I
so
got you.
21 just has always stuck with me. So when I'm watching Spain, and just, I mean, literally, like the passes, the timing, the footwork, there was the one early on, the almost goal where a pass comes in, and then here we are kind of like bunched up. Another pass comes through, and then to see the player take the ball and as it's coming in, spin around to try and spin off and shoot. If that had gone in, it would have been one of the greatest goals I've ever seen in my life. But I I was moved by the effectiveness of Spain because, I mean, no matter how good they are and no matter who does what or who picks them to whatever, because it's my team, I am on edge the whole time. And I wasn't going to be okay until something got through the net. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to see it. But yeah, when you see that 2 out of 3 goals were scored and you see the number 21 and then Cristiano Ronaldo, in honor of his teammate almost a year after their passing, he wore 21 when he went to greet the Portugal fans. So there's just something about number 21 and it keeps showing up. And our interview started at 10:21 on my birthday. So God is in full effect here, Stu.
Yeah.
So I want to jump right in from the top dog of the week, thanks to K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, to the World Cup and to everything that's going on there. But before we hit that specific analysis, I want to go to you personally and your story. You're connected to the world of soccer. You love this sport. You have done so much to help people along in their careers, and you cross paths with them, then you cross paths again. I love from when you and I met and you were in Syracuse to where you are today. Bring me through your journey of the stops you've made and what you're doing now, because I'll say this in a good way, Stu, it's hard to keep up with you.
Well, I'm in the USL2 league. I left Syracuse to go coach the Denton Diablos, and I made a move to Columbus, Georgia. Same league, different team. It's a somewhat familiar move. Michael Hitchcock owns both teams, so it's kind of moving around inside. Inside, I don't know what you'd call it, the tent, the empire, the dynasty, whatever it is. So I'm the head coach of Columbus United. We've had a not a bad season and not a great season. We just had too many draws. We played 10 games, and there's 6 draws in those 10 games and 2 wins. So that's a real lopsided record, which I've never experienced before. But each draw came with its own story. We had one game against Birmingham Legion 2 at home. We were down 3-0 at half-time, and we tied 3-3, so that didn't feel like a draw. And then we went to Birmingham Legion away yesterday, and we did a double-header with their pro first team. So we were in the UAB Blazers College Football Stadium, which was a wonderful arena, and we have 3 centre mids on our team with professional experience, and we were down all of them yesterday. So we put 2 college sophomores in centre mid, which was something new, and they played very well, and we ended up getting a 1-1 draw there. And you said about crossing paths. What was really cool was as our game finished, Dawson McCartney, who played for me at Dartmouth back in 2018, 2019, he runs out of the tunnel to warm up for the professional first team game, and he's a 7-year pro now. So that was really nice to see him doing so well.
Well, and for you, being a part of this, obviously we connected and talked about when you were in Denton. What did you experience down there in Texas, and just what you liked from being with the Diablos and what that entire kind of chapter of your life was?
Yeah, I had a real good time in Denton. Yeah, we were 7-4-1. And every loss was home and away to the top 2 teams in the division. We were the 3rd best, so we couldn't really complain about that. It came with its own challenges, like the USL2. A lot of teams could house players, and we couldn't at Denton last summer. So it was a trade-off, right? When you can't house players, it limits your recruiting. But when you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there is a gold mine of talent there. So it's very different and very limited to my usual recruiting. But Damon Gaukner was very supportive as the owner. We had our centre forward, Pato Faz, leave us 5 games in, and he's professional at Union Omaha now. really enjoyed myself. Yeah, different kinds of games. We went away to McKinney in front of 4,500 fans and beat them 4-3. We won our last home game of the regular season 11-0, which doesn't happen very often. And it's every experience you get, you tend to have a problem that you couldn't figure out, and that forces you down a road of discovery in the off season. So you learn after the fact, and you have all kinds of examples where you successfully implement things and you add it to your database. So there is never a season without value. Every coach wants playoff appearances. Every coach wants trophies. But yeah, I certainly enjoyed Denton. That was a positive step on the ladder.
And then, Columbus United, like you said, coming up to Ohio and having that connection in the background, when it comes
Dan, Georgia, Columbus, Georgia.
Georgia, sorry, yes. Yeah. So Columbus, Georgia, my brain always goes back to Ohio. But,
everybody.
being in Columbus, Georgia with the Columbus United, like you said, 6 ties, outside of that, a 2-2 record of wins and losses beyond that, but in the South Central Division of the USL2, in the top 3 right now. I know that you said, just having so many draws that you've had this season through the games, the 10 games that you've played. But what does it say about where this Columbus United team is at, knowing that when we look at Dothan United as well as Swarm FC, that you're right there with them and there's still opportunity as you step forward?
Yeah, I mean, Dothan lost the national championship game last year, and one of our ties was 1-1 at home with them, and we had them under a lot of pressure for a lot of that game. So I think it's accurate to say we have the capacity and the capability to reach that level. They've been more consistent than we have, and they have found themselves in those tight games and found themselves a win late on, whereas we haven't. The one thing I am proud of is we haven't conceded any winning goals or equalising goals late on. When we played Montgomery, we were down 2-1 with 15 minutes left and we won 3-2. And then we went to Apotheos and we scored 2 goals in the last 20 minutes for a win there. So in terms of those sort of clutch moments late in games when the mind and the body is tired, we've shown a pattern of coming out on the right end and not folding late, which is definitely an important factor for any group you coach.
Well, and to that point and to that credit, there's teams that can all come out striking early, but it's the sustainability. They always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so the reality of sometimes the team doesn't have to be the more talented team at the end, but the team that is, obviously built well with endurance, built well with stamina, knows how to utilize their body. A team that is prepared, a team that is systematic, can beat a team that may be more talented if a team is more structured and more disciplined. So what can you say to that side of it with Columbus United being structured, being disciplined, and then having the side of it when it comes to taking care of your body, that in those final few minutes of a match, whatever the score is, your team is able to turn on jets that might be exhausted with other teams?
Yeah, I give this group a 10 out of 10 in terms of what you're talking about right now. I think what's very fortunate is your locker room polices itself, and our senior leadership in the locker room. It includes some former professionals. It includes a couple of devout Muslims. It's just not really a atmosphere of not taking care of your body. A lot of these summer teams can descend into socializing at the beach and drinking every chance you get. A lot of these summer leagues can not buy into their environment, and July's the time their mind starts to go back to their college season coming in August, so they drop the ball in the summer sense, so to speak. So yeah, I think I'm very blessed and very fortunate, and obviously a little bit as we've done some good recruiting in terms of getting the right people in, but it's a fit group and it's a mentally strong group, and it's definitely a whistle-to-whistle group.
Yeah, and that to me, putting together and assembling a team, for those that don't know, when they think about, soccer in America, they think about the MLS. When we talk about the USL and USL2, how does this all work together? Just bring us into kind of the bones of what the USL and the USL2 are.
The MLS, people can like it or not like it. A lot don't, but MLS sits atop US soccer, and it's not even close. There's no discussion that there is a league with the finances and the level and the crowd support that the MLS has. The USL is an interesting infrastructure that sits underneath it. The USL Championship is a fully functioning, good level pro league. And then you got the USL 1, which is another pro league. It's a different tier. And then you got the USL 2. Now, the USL Championship and USL 1 are both pro. USL 2 is the highest league in America outside the pros. It's where you'll find, like, we played against the Syracuse starting goalkeeper, Carl Jansen, this season, and you'll find a lot of power conference college players inside the USL 2. Now, there is a plan in place for USL to adopt promotion relegation. That's not going up to MLS. That's they're going to have like a USL Super League or whatever they call it, then the USL Championship, and then the USL 1. So there'll be a 3-league pro rel. But I'm certain that the USL 2 won't enter that, because as soon as they do that, they'll lose access to all the college players. And there is a hefty percentage of college players inside the USL 2. It starts in May and it ends on August 3rd. So it's perfectly designed to keep these college players active, because a 3-month college season isn't going to get you ready for the pro game. Every kid who's taken those pro aspirations seriously will play in the summer and then play in the fall and have a 5-6 month season instead of just a 3-month season. If you think logically at how important that is, pro soccer is 9 months. So there's just no way you prepare for a 9-month pro season with a 3-month college season. You have to add this elite level summer ball in.
Well, and, like you said, to this, I mean, promotion relegation, it's something that a lot of people that may not be soccer fans, football fans, but fans of, Ryan Reynolds, for example, when you think about Wrexham and all that, I mean, that's how a lot of people learned about promotion relegation. Are you for or against USL 2 having the adoption of promotion relegation? Or, the entire USL system?
I'm fully against USL 2 having it, because they're going to have to invent a new league for all the college kids to get that elite level summer ball if they put the USL 2 in the pro game. USL having 3-tier promotion relegation, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think the demand for the MLS to incorporate that is disingenuous. They have, over the course of 20, 30 years after they hired Don Garber from the NFL, they've built an NFL model, and they've took millions and billions of dollars from people under an NFL model. So then to go back after the fact and tell these people after all that investment that now they can be relegated, I don't think you're in a position to do that with an MLS or legally any more than you are Jerry Jones in the NFL, to tell him that if he goes 1-15 instead of a high draft pick, now he's relegated into CFL or Arena League or whatever the plan is. Like, it's not going to happen. I think there's things in life that we want and things in life that are reality. And I think relegation out of MLS isn't coming. And I think the way MLS was built, and people can not like this, but MLS has been built very successfully. There's probably 3 or 4 pro soccer leagues in America went bankrupt before MLS figured it out. I don't think you get to add the layer of relegation on right now.
Yeah, and it brings a good point, because, if you are to be relegated, what does that do to the infrastructure of your club, and how can you even sell that when you're trying to build a league the way that the MLS has tried to build over time? USL 2, I mean, you talked about bringing in college student athletes and having the opportunity for them to gain experience, because in order for them to be ready for an MLS season, for a pro season, you're playing 9 months. You look at, I mean, we were having the discussion on Wednesday here on the show with Zach Bowden, that between everything that's going on now in the world of professional soccer around the world, there are some players that are being asked to play 10, 11, 12 months out of the year. I mean, there's really no stopping because of the different events that come about and different things that happen. So what can you say to the fact that USL 2, just how it bridges the gap and how it allows you to still be a student athlete in college, but to gain professional experience to get yourself ready, just what that dance is like and how important it is to have the USL 2?
I mean, I think the 12-month pro thing's gone way too far. Like, if you're an elite level pro player playing a 9-month season with sports scientists there to like sort of drain your battery over those 9 months, to constantly add never-ending summer commitments onto those guys, I think that's what happened to Cole Palmer. There's all that discussion about him not being in the England team, but I think a huge part was a lot of these guys had a summer off, and Cole Palmer was here at the Club World Cup playing in 100 degrees. And then he just started again in August, and his levels visibly dropped all along. So you'll probably see Cole Palmer play very well in August and September. But yeah, I think that's overcooked. But the average USL college player is undercooked. You know, like if they go pro, they're all of a sudden going from playing against U23 soccer to U32 soccer, and it's already physically a step up. So for it to be physically a step up, technically and tactically a step up, and 2-3 times the length, it's just not a feasible jump. The old rookie wall in all those sports is very real in soccer too. So I just think getting that added game time and added training time to your rhythm is important. I think the ability to adapt to a brand new environment is important. You know, staying in your comfort zone with all your college friends and a coach and a system you're used to, again, that's only going to take you so far. So to be constantly put under demand to play different ways with different people in different situations, because ultimately what is professional other than a new situation, I think it's very much a good move for anyone who's taking the idea of playing past college seriously. There is some coaches that say, "Oh, I'm worried about my players getting injured." I truly believe coaches that say that don't have the big picture of their players' development at heart. They have a anxiety-based, fear-based attitude that if a player's going to get injured, it has to be in a game playing for them. And I think those guys also know that they're not getting those kids ready for the pro game. They just don't particularly care.
Well, I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, you're thinking about your team, your schedule, and there's coaches that think about themselves. There's coaches that think about what I'm overseeing, what is mine, what I have ownership of, and then there's coaches that think about other people and the longevity of it. I mean, are you relationship based or are you transactional? If you're transactional, I want my players to do nothing else but play for me because I need them to stay healthy because I want to win. If you're relationship based like you are, you're saying, yeah, I want to win a championship with you, but I also want to create other opportunities that have nothing to do with me that can help you down the road. It just depends on what coach you choose to be.
Yeah, I also think there's a reality in college soccer where players talk. Coaches can like it or not like it, but players talk. And I know a lot of those guys who were sort of like, you're going to do this and you're only going to do this and this is all that matters. Players know that and players speak about that. And that's when people present the portal, it's very rarely presented through the lens of the coach not doing the optimal job. But that's absolutely a portion of the portal era and why kids want to move on. And I don't think your team does win over any period of time unless every player thinks you have their best interest at heart. If not, it goes south. It's just a question of how long it takes to do so.
Yeah. And, you know, you and I have bonded over the caring about other people and doing kind things for people, even if it does nothing for you to do for somebody else, to not always need to get a gift in order to give one. Stu Flaherty here with me, longtime soccer coach and analyst of the game. And we're here to speak, of course, on the 2026 FIFA World Cup inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. After you get to know him a little bit better and what he stands for, now let's hop into the round of 16 and what we know is coming. And so I want to break down by pod here the 4 different pods. I'll start with the one that I think is most difficult, the teams that move forward. I am not surprised. And so now we have Brazil versus Norway, and we will have Mexico versus England in what I consider to be the toughest pod to get to the Final Four of this FIFA World Cup here in 2026. Stu, give me your thoughts on a Brazil team that was pushed by Japan early, a Norway team that was pushed by the Ivory Coast, and then looking at Mexico, who was able to make quick work of Ecuador, and England, as you mentioned before, without a Harry. What is it about people named Harry connected to England? But without them, where do we go? We don't win World Cup games and we don't make good music. So Mexico and England and Brazil and Norway. What do you got?
If you look historically, I don't think it's a great Brazil team. I do think Vinicius is a great player, and I do think Gabriel, I can't say his last name, Magalhaes or something close to that, is a great defender. And without Gabriel, I think there'd be an upset alert because of Haaland. But I think the very small handful of defenders on earth that can compete physically with Haaland, Brazil happened to have one of them. And that's why I think Brazil will win that game. I think the key, Morocco showed you the key to Brazil. If you can shut down Vinicius and you have good fullbacks and good man-v-man defenders out wide, you can give this Brazil team problems. You know, Cunha, Gabriel, they're not bad players, but I don't believe they're World Cup winners on an individual level. I think Vinicius is. If he goes off, Brazil win every game Vinicius is successful in. I really do. So I would say Brazil. I do think it'll be tight. I do think Norway are good defensively. I do think it will settle into the pattern of Norway sitting back and trying to counter, and Brazil win it by a goal. The England game is a whole different scenario. There is like, personnel-wise, England win the game. The only nightmare matchup is Quinones out wide on the left against whoever England choose to play right back, because we just saw the Congo game, and I think a good portion of England fans saw that coming, that Jed Spence was going to struggle man v man with Sepenga, who was great in every group stage game. But then you got to think off the field. I don't know if you saw that sort of Egyptian team v Dallas Police kerfuffle yesterday, but there's going to be all kinds of things, I think, from the second England arrive in Mexico that are going to be designed against them. They're going to have the fireworks outside the hotel. They're going to have every bit of hostility and adversity Mexico can do. Then you've got the altitude, which is a very real physical thing. Yeah. Then you've got the stifling heat, which England don't do well in. Then you got 80, 90,000 Mexicans in the crowd with a hostile environment. This is no joke that England about to go into. And what I think is a really interesting sort of layer to this is Thomas Tuchel's a very proud man. And he's been talking about other teams playing low blocks. And he's been talking in a, maybe not condescending, but he's been talking down about the concept of being a defensive team. Now, ironically, England's chance to win in Mexico is not by getting up in their face and high pressing them for 90 minutes and bombing the fullbacks on and playing super expansive. England's best chance to win this game, I believe, is to play somewhat of a low block themselves, use the pace on the wing of Gordon, Rashford, Saka, Madueke, and then hope for moments of magic from Jude and Kane, which ultimately is all we've been living off anyway, in probably 2 or 3 of these games at least. Yeah. But if England go out there and go front foot and play high energy and get up in Mexico's face, I think England run out of gas and altitude in the last 20, 30 minutes, and I think they get beat. If England don't put some kind of strategy in to shut down the Mexican left winger, whether that be Declan Rice at right back, which would be interesting because he's your best centre mid, maybe, but he played well at right back against Congo, or sending a centre back over to double Quinones and having Rice or Anderson drop into centre back, or playing someone like Morgan Rogers wide right and having him double back. Like, I feel like there has to be some kind of plan that isn't Jed Spence 1v1 against Quinones, because he'll get absolutely destroyed. And it almost cost him the Congo game, and it could cost him this game.
You made mention of how Mexico, just where they are, the heat, the altitude, things that are going to affect that are natural. Mm-hmm. But then the unnatural of you're traveling in here, maybe your bus gets stopped for 2 hours, maybe, we put, we're going to put the fireworks right outside. We're going to make sure that, people are playing like, basically, is England going to hear anything other than boom, 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 the whole, like, at all times?
Yeah, no.
So I want to speak to that side of it. The fact that Mexico is part of hosting this North American Cup. They're in the round of 16. England's already far away from home. But what can you say about all of the things that are not illegal, but they definitely can affect sleep patterns, driving people crazy, making them uncomfortable, making sure that maybe the hotel is not as accommodating, making sure that like the travel is held up. Just what you can say about all the things that don't happen on the pitch that happen in the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to hear about something like food poisoning. I bet you England take their own food with them. I think it's an unspoken reality. I think it absolutely is a reality. And if I was the England coach, I'd stay in America for as long as I could and fly into Mexico the day of or the night before the game. I truly would. Yeah. I think actually, unless you have enough time to acclimatize to altitude, I think the belief is to get in and out as quick as you can is the best strategy on a sports science level. So yeah, we don't know what's coming, but something's coming. And if England win this game, it's going to be very much a pat on the back for Thomas Tuchel, because it's going to take some very real leadership and guidance and creation of an environment when everything's set up against you. But with that said, that is what the World Cup is. If you want to go to other countries and win World Cup games, then you don't do it with people shaking your hand and playing nice. That's just not the reality. It's tough, and they need to know it's tough and talk about all these things and address them now, rather than complaining about them after the fact as excuses you lost. But the biggest concern is England's right back's not very good. Like that's the biggest concern.
Do you think when England comes into America, it's kind of like going to your ex's house and finding out how well they're doing without you?
I don't know, because I thought the war with England was to stop paying extortionate tax to politicians, and I don't think that's worked out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The other important question is, who is more important to England, Harry Styles or Harry Kane?
Harry Kane, all day.
I would agree with that.
Harry Styles is a poor man's Liam Gallagher.
Okay. Fair enough. I like it. So as we go through that, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I could see Brazil and Mexico moving forward here in this. I do think Norway has had themselves some fun. They can score. They can bring about an offensive onslaught, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that against Brazil. That's going to be a closer game. I think Mexico can make some quick work of the matchup against England, especially, like you said, stamina, speed-wise.
Wow, Dan.
Yeah.
Confident, huh?
I'm confident in Mexico. I really am. So, and the fact that, it's home soil. So we go to Paraguay, who took down an historic juggernaut, maybe not a juggernaut of recent time, but historic juggernaut in Germany. Paraguay winning that matchup to face France, which is a favorite of potentially many out there to win this World Cup. And then Canada has made it the farthest they've ever been in the World Cup. This year in 2026, they won their first World Cup game. They had never outright had a victory in the World Cup, which is insane to think of. And my dark horse, I had two, and one of them is still alive. The Ivory Coast, sad face, is not. But Morocco is a dark horse of mine since the group stages, and they're rocking and rolling. I know what I think is going to happen in this bracket, but I'd love to know from you, can Paraguay upend another team of history when it comes to France and the expectations that are there with France? And Canada, does their road end with my dark horse of Morocco?
Paraguay cannot beat France. I don't think so. I really don't. I think... See, when you look at England v Mexico, personnel-wise, you take you put it on a neutral venue, I think in 10 of the 11 places, England are a better team.
Yeah.
But then you got that question mark of Quinones v the right back. I don't think there's a question mark anywhere that France are better than Paraguay. I think there's probably a level, but between all of them, Paraguay's best player might be Enciso, and you're comparing him to Mbappe or the French centre-back, so just know. I understand upsets happen, but this one would really shock me. The Germany one shocked me, but this isn't a great German team. It's arguably the greatest France team of all time. I know France have had some wonderful teams and wonderful players, but I think in decades from now, all these names that are active and building their resumes will be on the levels that your Zidanes and your Thierry Henrys are on, if Mbappe is not there already. So I think France win it comfortably. I do think Morocco beat Canada. They were in a semi-finalist last time round. They're probably as good or better, not worse. Canada's not a bad team at all. I quite like Jesse Marsh. I see always divided opinion in America. I find him quite likable, but I don't think they beat Morocco.
Yeah, I think my dark horse is going to continue. I do believe, I would love to see Paraguay continue this incredible Cinderella road that makes you feel like March Madness. But I do see France moving forward, and I'm riding Morocco till the wheels fall off. The battle for the Iberian Peninsula, once again, Spain versus Portugal. I knew this was going to happen because, of course, I want Spain to win. Of course, my family and my heritage. But I know, and I'm going to say this, and I said it earlier this week, Stu. You're put into the round of 32 and bracketed. I mean, obviously you have control over the group stages and what you do, but then you're bracketed by a system. I call BS because I think Spain and Portugal were put here so that they could face each other. And here we go again. Portugal comes back over Croatia. Spain handles their matchup that they had most recently here over Austria. So now we have the Iberian Peninsula that they share, the fight for this. What are your thoughts on Spain, Portugal? All I do is blink my eyes. I go back to 2010 to the 1-0 win by Spain, where I believe Portugal hit the crossbar, and my heart stopped more times than I'm willing to admit within 90 plus minutes of soccer. And that was a year where Spain won the World Cup. So bring me into your thoughts on Spain and Portugal in the Peninsula fight.
It's the best game of the round, isn't it? It's easily the best game of the round. It's a coin toss. If you absolutely put me on the spot, I would say Spain to win by half a goal. But yeah, I wouldn't be like, I'd have zero surprise if either of the two teams won. I wouldn't be like, oh no, wait, that's an upset. I think it's the best game of the round.
Then we have a team that was underwhelming for most of the group stage. In the third match of the group stage, was able to surpass Egypt in their group by running up the goal score at the end of things, although I believe that Egypt was the better team in that group. And I'm speaking of Belgium. Belgium may be on the uptick, playing their best soccer right now. The United States of America has shown that they have come here to win a World Cup, as opposed to what people thought in the past, where it was like, oh, they should just be happy to qualify. They should just be happy to win a match or two. This America team is pushing towards something special. I thought they were going to play Senegal. I think Senegal thought that too, and they had an opportunity at the end of the game, but it went too high over the crossbar. So Belgium moves forward. Are they better than how they started this 2026 World Cup? And what do you see between America and a team that normally is going to be a tough team to beat? Is Belgium weak, or is this going to be a good one?
USA wins, I think. It'll be close. I think Belgium is a better matchup than Senegal. This USA team is reminding me of Pochettino's Tottenham team that made the Champions League final. Okay. And remember how he had Dele Alli and Lucas Moura like playing at levels they never played to again. And there was a certain like stifling energy that got up in people's faces and stayed there. There was a certain intensity that was just half a tick above the other team on a consistent basis. And Senegal, for that reason, I think would have been a tougher matchup, because the energy and the athleticism and the press of the USA, Senegal can match that. I actually don't think Belgium can. If they play Lukaku, he's a wonderful player who's old. Trossard is a wonderful player who's not physically imposing. De Bruyne is a wonderful player who's physically on the decline. I think they might have got Belgium at the perfect time here, and I think there might be an upset cooking, and USA beats them by a goal. The suspension to Balogun is a backbreaker. Yeah. Like, that is the worst player that you could have gone into this game without. So you're hoping for Ricardo Pepi to have the game of his life, have that game where Timmy Smith in the Super Bowl got 200 yards, right? To make up for the missing of Balogun, who's a former Middlesbrough player, by the way, so I love him. But I still just have this gut feeling that there's an identity and an energy to this team that the USA hasn't seen in a long, long time. It's very American. USA went through an era of pretending to be European, and I think losing their identity in the process. And there is a nastiness back to them, and I think they might beat Belgium.
Is the loss of Balogun for a game likened to if England didn't have Harry Kane?
Yeah, it's not good. Pepe's Ollie Watkins. Yeah.
So my question to you: if Spain were to win and the United States were to win, what do I need to do? Because I know where I live, and I love America, and I also know that my family and my heart is so deeply, my blood goes back to Spain and Italy. I don't have Italy in this World Cup. So what do I do if Spain plays America?
I think you're a man who loves a story, Spain beating USA is not the story. USA beating Spain is. I think you root for that and jump back on the Spanish bandwagon in the next round if needed.
Fair enough. So I know at the time that we're talking here, Stu, the other pod is more open with the defending World Cup champion of 2022, Argentina. They have this guy Messi. Some people might know of him. And so this to me was the pod that was most wide open. It was almost like a gift to Argentina saying, besides you, it's a toss-up. We have Ghana, we have Colombia, we know Switzerland is through, we have Egypt, who I think is a dangerous team going up against Australia. I mean, when we look at this pod itself, I don't find Argentina to have a tough road. I argue that maybe their toughest matchup could be Egypt in the next round, but ultimately, if I had to put my feet to the fire, I think whoever wins the Ghana-Colombia game and makes it to the end of this pod with Argentina, if that were to happen, that would be my dark horse, the winner of Colombia versus Ghana, to try and upend the defending World Cup champion. In a wide-open group, how do you see this thing shaking out ultimately?
I think Colombia is as good as Argentina without Messi. So I think that's the other team. I don't think Ghana beats Colombia. You can't bet against Messi in the form he's in, right? I feel like sometimes people want something new so bad that they say they think it's going to happen when they really don't, just because they want something new. But I think Messi probably fires Argentina to the final here. But Colombia is a very good team. It wasn't that long ago they had an unbeaten streak of 30-plus games, and they looked tremendous in the Copa America. So that's the team that Argentina probably want to face the least. But yeah, it's a very one-sided draw in terms of all the strength being in one side of the bracket.
Cape Verde winning in their first ever World Cup, getting to this opportunity in the round of 32. They draw the reigning World Cup champion. But what do you want to say about Cape Verde? I mean, the smallest country to get into the World Cup was Curacao, who did not advance to the round of 32. But when you look at Cape Verde and having the history that they have had in this World Cup, to be able to build upon something, whatever happens against Argentina, what are your notes on Cape Verde?
I mean, I think they're very good. I think it's an interesting thing in soccer, right? Because we fall in love with names and flags. And if this was Cameroon, everyone would respect Cameroon. But because it's Cape Verde, they kind of don't. Well, if you look back to the qualifying league, Cape Verde are here because they finished above Cameroon. So any respect or admiration you have for Cameroon, you now pin that to Cape Verde. Just like Bosnia. People try to make them a joke, but people would have respected Italy. And Bosnia were the reason Italy aren't here. So I think Cape Verde, they're not some kind of novelty act, but I do think they get beat by 2 or 3 goals by Argentina. But they've done a wonderful job getting as far as they've got, for sure. Congo I thought were magnificent. I was lucky enough to go live to watch them play Uzbekistan, and then I suffered through the England game. I thought they were fantastic. I was really impressed with them. They're exciting. They've got good dribblers. They're nice to watch. But Cape Verde seem a little bit more of a grinded out, defense heavy team. But Argentina's too much for them, I think.
A couple points before I let you go, Stu. Inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios with the longtime soccer coach and analyst of the game, speaking on the 2026 FIFA World Cup, as well as his journey here inside of these Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When it comes to the continent of Africa, they sent 10 countries, 9 of them advanced to the knockout round of 32. Of the Congos and the Senegals and so on and so forth, South Africa, who had the first match in the round of 32 against Canada, what can you say about the African continent and where they are when it comes to Morocco? Obviously, of course, what can you say to where the continent of Africa is in the world scope of soccer?
I think it's nice to see so many go through. I thought the South Africa coach did a magnificent job, because in the opener against Mexico, I thought they looked horrible. I thought they looked like an 0-3 team waiting to fly home as quick as they could, and to turn it around and to make the knockouts. Very, very well done from them. But I think Africa's an interesting example because you always hear the USA, if our best athletes played soccer, and there seems to be a belief that stronger and faster equals better. Well, Africa would have 7 World Cups because, without exception, the best athletic teams I've ever seen come out of Africa. And in the 90s, it was Nigeria and Cameroon. And then there was a run where Ivory Coast had Drogba and the Toure brothers and a bunch of European stars. There's always been these shining star African teams. But it took Morocco to make the semi-finals, right? But I think this is about the norm, and should be about the norm, that at least one African team makes the last 8 and multiple make the knockout stages. All their talent plays in Europe, just like the South American teams. They're tremendously gifted defenders, almost like exceptionally, like all the Africans throughout the Premier League in terms of ball winning and 1v1 defense. There's some players, and every now and again you get a magician, right? You got Sepenga for Congo now. Back when I was younger, it was JJ Okocha. I think maybe the summary of Africa up to now would have been they always had world-level individuals but never put it together. And I think when that's the case, it was only a matter of time till it got put together. And I think Morocco making the semis last time, and one of them's going to go deep this time. I think this is what should be expected.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm just happy to see it. I'm happy to see the expansion of this. And speaking of expansion, let's get into it. The World Cup typically has 32. Now we have a knockout round of 32 because there's 48 that start here. We added 4 more groups. The expansion from I, J, K, and L getting added when it used to end A through H is where we had it. Now we have I, J, K, and L, and a bunch of those groups saw 3 of their 4 go through. So for or against, now that we're watching the expansion, they're talking about potentially more expansion in the World Cup, maybe to 6 of all of the countries that can compete, the 200 plus, it's like 211 or something of that respect. What are your thoughts on not starting with 32, but having a knockout round of 32 after starting with 48?
I don't love it, but the genie's not going back in the bottle, right? They're not going to shrink the World Cup. The one thing I don't like as much is when, this coach took their country to the first ever World Cup. He's the best coach ever. Well, if he qualified for a 48-team World Cup and a bunch of other guys didn't qualify for a 16 or a 32-team event in history, he's not the best ever. I think that's nonsense, and I really don't like when I see those headlines. But I think this is an inevitable. I don't like the third place rule. It takes away the drama of the group stage. I think this is an inevitable march to a 64-team World Cup with a 32-team knockout round, which would be the top 2 over again, and we won't have 8 out of 12 third-place teams going through, because that very much took the drama out. The World Cup used to be a case of you lose your first game, you're in trouble. You lose your second game, you're done. And that wasn't the case this year, which was a little bit lame, to be honest. So, I just think economically, and the fact that they're starting to use 2 and 3 nations for the events, I think we can all see what's coming. I think it goes to 64, and it goes to the knockout round of 32 and on from there. Whether I like it or not, not really. But, you trade off, right? Like the law of compensation, Napoleon Hill. You don't get no easy games, groups of death, and this and that. You do get Curacao and Haiti and all these teams allowed to grow their game and put themselves on the world stage every 4 years and have all the economic development that comes from that. I'm all right with that trade-off.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think fans should always.
Go ahead, what were you going to say?
I don't think fans should view everything like a Netflix show. I'd rather watch this. You have to see the benefit of involving nations that wouldn't be involved.
Yeah, I think there's a beauty in that. And I mean, I feel like we're spoiled, and I set my DVR on YouTube TV to record every single World Cup game because I know myself, and over this weekend, I'm going to go back and just watch. And because I just want to see it. I want to see the road, Cape Verde, as well as, Curacao and these countries you're just happy. Senegal that, stuck out to me. The Ivory Coast that I just found a lot of passion for, and that was from previous. It wasn't just going into this World Cup. So I found myself gravitating toward countries I would know nothing about if not for the World Cup, which I think brings us together. And I would argue, and Papa Joe was on the show yesterday and didn't even know I said it, and he argued it too on his own. I would argue, with no disrespect to the Olympics, that the greatest world competition, anything that truly brings out heritage and blood and nationality and pride, I think is the World Cup. I don't think anything, including the Olympics, matches the World Cup.
Yeah. Do you want a really interesting bit of Olympic history?
Go ahead.
So I agree about the FIFA World Cup, but there's something happened politically decades ago that a lot of people don't know, where when soccer went into the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup were worried that the Olympic gold medal game would become the biggest game in soccer. And that was a very valid concern. And that is why when you look at Olympic soccer, it's an age-capped U23 tournament where statistics and caps don't count to players' careers, because it was a fear from FIFA that they would be surpassed. And that's also the reason it didn't happen in the women's game, because at that time, the FIFA Women's World Cup wasn't at the point where they were worried about competition. They were just trying to exist. So Olympic soccer was kind of killed before it was allowed to compete with the World Cup.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing all of this now, it's a beautiful thing, and seeing Spain still alive just brings me peace. So with that being said, Stu, let's play some rapid fire. You've been great speaking on a bunch of different things, so I'm not putting you on the hot seat. I'm only putting myself there. You can ask me any 3 questions. What do you got for me? And it could be soccer, or it could be literally anything.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys record in the fall.
Oh boy. So
I'm struggling between 17-0 and 15-2, but I'm interested in your team.
Yeah, so I mean, I can listen. I'll tell you this. I genuinely, and one of my closest friends, and he's like a brother to me, Isaac. He is a brother to me. You know, him and I were talking about the NFC East, and I told him I think the Giants are going to win the division. He's a Washington Commanders fan. He was not happy with me. I was like, I'm not a Giants fan. I'm just, as a broadcaster, I'm telling you my thoughts. But if I look at the Dallas Cowboys, I think the Eagles are teetering right now. I think they're in like they may dip a little bit. The Cowboys are playing the Giants first week of the season. I'm just going to go through the schedule here. So if I think they split the first 2 weeks, and then I think they lose that one, so that's 1-2, let's say 2-2, then I'm going to say, if I feel 3-3 by my birthday, which is October 21st, so if they're 3-3 by that time, based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to say 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4. Let's see here. 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 7-6, 7-7, 8-7. I'm going to feel comfortable giving them either an 8-9 or a 9-8 record as a broadcaster and an impartial broadcaster. And this will show you right now, folks, that I am impartial in my business and in my job. I am wearing a Cowboy shirt saying they're going to be 8-9 or 9-8. But that's what I feel comfortable saying at this point, based on what I'm looking at in front of me in the studio.
All right. Sporting event after the World Cup that you're excited about?
Without question, I am grateful to God beyond my imagination, and I don't even know how to say thank you enough for this. I thank the college football playoff, everyone that's involved with it. I thank those in the bowls that I built relationships with over the years. I thank that anyone has seen my work and found value in it. And I would say, when the college football playoff, I've covered the college football playoff and interviewed people like Nick Saban ahead of this, but, you know, being a part of the college football playoff in its expansion to 12, on site, on location, and going through multiple rounds, and being one of the only media people, 300 to 400 people in the entire world that is credentialed to this event, and the only media person in Central and Upstate New York credentialed to the college football playoff, I don't have sufficient words, but I pray to God that we will make it 3 for 3. And as I was at the national championship in Atlanta and I was at the national championship in Miami, I look forward to greeting Las Vegas for the national championship. So I'll say that.
It's awesome. Third one is not current.
Okay.
Best sporting moment you have seen live, not on TV. Live.
Oh, boy. That's tough. Tough in a good way. It's funny because as soon as you say that, I flash all these places that I've been. I would say, I mean, man, there's so many that come to my mind that I was on site for. If I had to pick one, I mean, I have to pick this one. And they didn't win the game. They are my favorite team in Major League Baseball. They didn't win, but it was Game 3 of the 2023 World Series. I have been an Arizona Diamondback fan since they came into existence in 1998. And being a Diamondback fan in New York is atypical. Flying to Arizona and having 30, it was like being raised by wolves and then finding out I'm a human being, being with 30,000 people in Chase Field and bringing my dad to the World Series. We brought each other. Being with my dad, I will tell people this for the rest of my life and in heaven. I watched my dad watch the game more than I watched the game. It gets me emotional. It gets me choked up. Spinning the towels with my dad. I have a video on my phone of us singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And then leaving the stadium and seeing that the Arizona Diamondback fans love their team even when they lose. They were cheering all the way out of the stadium. They're like, we're going to get it. It's okay. We're going to figure this out. To hear the fans love their team in a loss, to be around Diamondback fans, which I've never gotten to do my whole life, and to be at the World Series, which is insane, and to be there with my father, I can honestly tell you that I stared at him more than I stared at the game. It was life-changing, monumental, and in my heart, the Diamondbacks won because I was there with my dad.
It's awesome. It's interesting you say that because if there's a negative about England fans, they are a good group and they're exciting and they bring energy. But if England lose, woof, 80-90% of them jump ship like that.
Well, and I'll tell you with the fact of you saying woof brings me right to the Apple TV show that I watch, Shrinking, where Harrison Ford, when he doesn't like something, he says woof. So with that being said, Stewart Flaherty, I don't know how to say goodbye, so I will always say see you soon. Let's make more of a habit of this because I've missed you too much, my friend. I will be down south for a bunch of things. I hope we get to cross paths soon, but I just want you to know this, and you know I wouldn't say this on or off the air if I didn't mean it. There's a reason why God brought us together. Our friendship was created within just like 2 or 3 days. And I honestly, genuinely want you to know that I love you, I support you, and I'm just grateful to have you in my corner, and I never question that. So I just want to send you my love, and I want to tell you that I value very much that we have had the opportunity to cross paths, and I'm always thinking of you fondly and always look forward to talking with you.
Love you back, brother.
I'll talk with you soon. Be well.
See ya.
Go Columbus United. That's what I'll say.
Off the bus.
Take care. So that being said, Stu Flaherty here with us. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. Honored and privileged to be able to have the people in my life that I love and that happen to love me back. God bless you, Stu, and to all of your loved ones. I have nothing but kind words and well wishes to say, man. I love you. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. God is great, and I am very spoiled in a good way. So we'll take a step aside in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're going to wrap things up right after this. Stay with us.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myAVICOLLIS.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily?
Hello, this is Dylan Husted, the owner of the Baked Potato Express. We do mostly big festivals or big corporate like private events. Typically just big festivals such as like Taste of Syracuse, Food Truck Battle, Battle of the Wings. I do the State Fair. They're ordering from a fresh food truck that is making real food and happy to make it and wants them to enjoy every bite. We season every potato before they go in the oven, and then they bake for an hour, and when they come out, we season them again after we cut them. We use real butter, real cheese, real ingredients, so it's all really good food and people love it. We have a lot of returning customers and regulars that we see very often. The customers really make a big impact, and this is a big food truck community. The events here are super busy. It's like in my blood. I like building things and creating stuff that people love, and me and my friends are the ones that run the truck, so it's kind of, we keep it's a tight circle in there, and we have like a family sort of oriented truck, and it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time doing it, and people love our food, so it ends up making it well for everybody. You can contact the Baked Potato Express at thebakedpotatoexpress@gmail.com or the Baked Potato Express on Instagram or TikTok. We are very happy to be partnered up with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as the exclusive sponsor of the Annoying Moment of the Week. And be sure to try DT's Baked Potato creation at all of our food trucks. The Baked Potato Express. Let's get baked.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item of
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop trading card and sports card shop. There is no place like GG Cards and Breaks. How do I know? I've been to a lot of places all around the country, and I can tell you that no place has ever truly made me feel like GG Cards and Breaks. I've made some of my closest friendships from total strangers that bonded with me and me with them over cards, over sports teams, over just conversations, being around really good people. The sports card and trading card community is incredible. The Bobbies, the Curtises, the Josh, the Anthonys, and so on and so forth. I would have never met these people if not for us being big kids and wanting to find other people that like what we like, that get to be a part of the hobby. John, I got to shout out John Newman as well. I feel honored and I feel privileged that GG Cards and Breaks trusts me and trusts my company to speak and promote and be an extended arm of who they are. They're a blessing. And I implore you to go to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. And I'll also tell you to go to the GG Cards and Breaks trade nights because they're special. We pack the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And it's just so much fun. I don't think I've ever left on time in the sense of like it's 6 to 9:30. I don't think I've ever left at 9:30 because there's just something special about it. There's something unique about it. And it's a beautiful thing. Boxes, packs, singles, graded cards. You can go into the store and look in their display cases and bring something home that you know exactly what it is. Or you can buy boxes and packs and have no idea. And there's some type of excitement to just not knowing what you have. And we have made an entire partnership of being excited big kids. GG Cards and Breaks is special. You want to experience it. And the first time you do it, you're going to want to go a second time. Then you're going to want to bring somebody with you. Then you're going to want to go again. 639 Delmar Place, Syracuse, New York. They're waiting for you. Go say hi. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Want to shout them out as well. Megan Sorber and her team going out there and getting after it. I love it. The pineapple dragon fruit is there for you. I have tried it. It is wonderful. So make sure you go out there and get that today, as well as the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich. That's a mouthful. And the sandwiches too. So go and get the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich. The HPPCS is what I'll call it here as the acronym. Go and get it today. And when you're getting the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich, you got a little spice, little kick to it, which is great to pair with the pineapple dragon fruit drink that you can get, as well as the original chicken, the spicy chicken, the grilled chicken. There's so many great things, the mac and cheese, and of course those shakes at Chick-fil-A. Go to the giant brick building. You can't miss it on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard in DeWitt. They have a giant brick building that goes with their giant parking lot and their double drive-through. They're waiting to see you today. Of course, you can order on the app. You can also order catering. Find out more from Chick-fil-A on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard by going to wakeupcalldt.com and simply clicking on their logo. Inside these Great Lakes Honda City studios, Wake Up Call, I thank you for being here with me in the morning and beyond on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.mixlr.com. Proud to be back on MixLR. We spent a lot of years there and then tried some other pieces and found my way back to the wonderful internet streaming radio that we have on MixLR, and I pray we will only grow, blossom, and work together toward special moments in history and continue to make them. So make sure you're here with us Monday through Friday on these wonderful channels, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond. And of course, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Many thanks to our incredible partners. Go and visit them today. Great Lakes Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Myers Creek with 2 locations, one on the countryside, 33 Rippleton Road in Kaz at the brewery, as well as in their tap room in the Syracuse Inner Harbor on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. The Baked Potato Express, which you could see out in Cortland on the 4th of July, and you could see them today in Brewerton. Go and get my Wake Up Call breakfast potato. And of course, many thanks to Gray's Craze of Clay, New York, Game Point Sports Complex, Pizza Man, Skippy's Ice Cream, Chick-fil-A Cicero, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, the Willow Rock Brewing Company and Willow Rock Pizza Pub, K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, and the only home of my breakfast sandwich, Mother's Cupboard, a staple of Syracuse. If you know Syracuse, you know Mother's. If you know Mother's, you know a big piece of Syracuse history. Go and get your piece of my Cuse Mac Mother bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Get it 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. only at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The Bearcats are here with me and with you, student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then the entire library of Binghamton specials, 150 plus specials to be exact. You'll find all of that by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank Ma and Pa's for setting up the show. Make sure you go to Ma and Pa's for all your snacks. And if you're out of town, go to maandpaspopcorn.com. They'll deliver it right to your doorstep. Annoying moment of the week, thanks to the Baked Potato Express. Lead talking about a beautiful visit from a wonderful brown bird, maybe a sparrow. Shout out to that beautiful, beautiful moment in my life given to me by God. And I cannot thank God enough for that. Chick-fil-A Cicero for lead. Top dog of the week, honoring so many members of the World Cup in this 2026 run, including Canada, Mexico, and the United States hosting and making it to the round of 16. All three of them doing that, as well as honoring Spain, and then Harry Kane getting honored by Stu Flaherty of England's national team. Thank you to K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare for taking care of our dogs during the day, as well as bringing us the top dog of the week. And many thanks to Stu Flaherty, a top dog that I have met over the years here that I appreciate so much professionally and personally on and off the air. So God bless to you, Stu, and Godspeed to Columbus United and all the work you're doing. Have a beautiful day, folks. Watch the World Cup. The final 3 spots will be decided in the round of 16 today. My video will go up, brought to you by Gray's Craze of Clay, New York, in just a little while on our social media. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. All of it's on WakeUpCallDT.com. I will always say, God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe. Be well.